Hello and welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central. It's day 2 in a brand new working week and we are back on your TV screens like we never left. Well, it feels good to be back, by the way. My name is Joe Hansen and most definitely we do have the likes who are here, but I'm just going to say welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's Tuesday, a rainy Tuesday, city of aquatic splendor for a reason. I'm still trying to get wrap my head around the extreme weather patterns we've been witnessing. There was no Hamilton in Lagos. And it's rained throughout the month of January, and we're in February. We had our first rains of February last night. I wish we could speak to somebody from the meteorological department to explain what's really going on with the weather. But I mean, if it makes the environment cool, I'm all for it. It's better than the blazing sunshine. And as a cool person, I like the cool weather, and as a big fan of Cool FM. Yeah.
I see what you're doing there. All right, to our virtual audience, thank you for joining us, as well as those who are watching from whatever platform, DSTV, GoTV, Avo TV, YouTube. Thank you for being here with us and stay with us from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. The next 3 hours, we're going around Nigeria and bringing some very interesting headlines, which we'll be sharing what they are with you shortly. But gentlemen, it's good to have you here again.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I noticed something. It looks like we're repeating the same colors from yesterday, just in different...
Blue.
You wore blue yesterday.
True.
I also wore another green suit yesterday, and you also wore another brown nudish suit.
Yeah, you wore
yesterday.
brown.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Yes,
You wore
yes,
brown.
And we're doing
Brown
the
is
same
quite
colors
similar,
again.
yes.
Yeah, brown with a historical tie. Yeah, really nice. And talking about cool, you know, blue is the color of cool and water. It's really nice, and I'm feeling cool today. And still talking about being
You are
cool.
dry.
One of my favorite musicians, his name is Bebe Cool. He's Ugandan.
Oh, okay.
So if you listen to Bebe Cool, it will cool your mind
temper.
and cool your temper.
Okay.
In case if this is your first time, I apologize. Just to let you know that this is typically how Benga behaves.
Why you apologize? I own my behavior with my full chest. I love it.
This is typically Benga.
Are you Malami?
He's about Macaulay. Okay.
He's owing with his full chest that his salary as a public servant is how many million naira per month.
Okay.
A public servant earning over 200 something million naira per month.
I think the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission needs to speak on that. So many things to unpack in the course of today's show.
Okay, let's start by unpacking
I can't wait.
You know, unpacking it one after the other. And like we do every morning, we take your comments from YouTube, even though we go on X. So if you're in Onitsha, please drop a comment and give us your real-time report of what the opening of Onitsha Main Market was like yesterday. Onitsha Main Market, the largest commercial hub in Anambra State, reopened on Monday after a one-week shutdown ordered by Governor Chukwuma Soludo over traders' compliance with or rather non-compliance with the return to market, as well as with their compliance over the long-running Monday sit-at-home directive linked to the indigenous people of Biafra. The governor had warned that the closure would be extended if traders failed to resume, prompting shop owners to return early, with stores reopening from Egerton through Ose Foodstuff Market, Young Park, Emeka Ofo Plaza, Sokoto Road, Lagos Line and Marine. A visit to the market by reporter Chinwe Ugele showed customers gradually streaming in under tight security presence. The Anambra Police Command also urged residents to ignore threats and misinformation from non-state actors, assuring the public of intensified patrols to protect lives and property as business activities normalized. When we started to talk about this, part of the statement was, it's not enough to say that marketers should return to the market, but we encouraged the governor and his members of his cabinet to come and spend time with the marketers and make them feel safe. Seems that the governor took our advice. He did the official opening and said he was going to do some shopping. Let's listen to what he said there.
It's Monday, the second day of February 2026. This is the first Monday that Main Market will be open in more than 5 years. And I have come to witness it. I have come to shop at Main Market today. because you believe. And because main market is open today, Anambra is open again on Mondays. Once main market is open, Anambra is main market to address, not here. Main market to address in Igbo. And now wrap your business inside now nebendi ozo. Okay, game ozo. Okay, game ozo. Thank you very much.
So in case you're wondering what he was saying that main market is the address of the Anambra people, that the main market is the address. If main market is open, it means the rest of the state is open. And this speaks to why people are asking, why does it have to be just the main market? Why is he insisting that main market reopens when banks aren't open, schools aren't open on Monday, institutions, private and public, aren't open on Monday? Why the banks? But he's saying that the main why the market rather, but he's saying that the main market is a symbol. It's a very solid symbol of the Anambra people, and that it's like their address. So once the main market opens, every other thing around it flows, and it's a natural return to order. He did say, if you listen to the longer version of the video, that he had a number of things to buy, that he has also come to shop from the main market, and he has a few stores that he was going to visit. And if you can see clips there, he's buying this nice designer, main market designer shirt. Very nice. I hope he wear it for his next address.
That shirt will look nice in Johansson, by the way.
Yeah, that's a popular
followed
shirt,
up with a blue Jims.
Jims
trousers.
Jims trousers.
But you see the smiles on their
this shirt, very popular. Benga, you have this shirt?
I don't.
Okay, that's
oh wow, Joe, you seem to know a lot of these things. I mean, you do a lot of market shopping. You're speaking from experience.
Very popular shirt.
But I mean, this is a good way to return to the market, spending time with them.
Long may it last. And I really hope that on Mondays that the governor and the security retinue are not there, that peace is kept, because the people have lost a lot of income due to the sit-at-home order. And like he said, it's a symbol. I will hope that schools, banks, and other businesses will pick up. Like our guest yesterday, Mr. Okewa, said, the approach in Anambra State is quite different from what prevailed in Enugu and other states, where it wasn't really compulsory, it wasn't a forceful compliance.
That he tried the forceful compliance way, but it didn't work. And they had to adjust. For me, I think the governor, like Olive rightly said, has a listening ear. He has been able to listen to the people, and he's able to do it the right way. If you compare what he's done now to what he did last week, you'd see the difference. Now, this is a more, I'll permit me to use the word, human approach, reasonable approach, empathetic approach. Because the previous meeting, which was the first, there were a lot of threats flying in the air. If you don't open, I'm going to destroy your shop, or I'm going to keep it locked for 3 months, and so on. He should also remember that him doing this, he's saving his purse. I mean, the internally generated revenue is basically looking like it's going to be guaranteed going forward, because the tax system would now see a robust input in terms of what is coming in, compared to what had happened every Monday, where they had a lot of leakages in terms of taxes and so on. And now every marketer would be willing to say, okay, fine, if the governor came here, then it means that he really cares for us. And I must say this, it's not just during elections or pre-elections that you go around and start eating agbado, corn, you eat coconut, you go to the market and dance with the people. This is what you ought to do, especially when the people need to
even as a second-term governor.
Around there. Exactly. And just to mention again, we've seen this trajectory play out many times. Whenever it's second term, governors tend to take actions that are not beneficial to most of the people. It's second term.
They damn the consequences. That's when they demolish.
Exactly. That's when they demolish houses. We've seen a similarity. Always happens in Lagos and maybe a few other states as well. It was second term that Lagos State had to say prior to the elections, before Sanwo-Olu came in, Okada will be banned. And that happened. That was a stringent move. But now we're starting to see things go that same way. But kudos to the people of Onitsha, the traders, and kudos to the governor for retracing his steps, if we put it that way, and doing it the right way. let the people understand that you are like them. You
are not just like them, that you are with them.
You're with them. You feel what they feel.
Because it's very easy for citizens to feel like you are sitting there on your high horse or your high stool and backing down others down at them.
And you think business people don't want to come to work?
Of course they want to come to work.
It's in their interest, but if they don't feel safe
the
enough
one thing
or
that
have
you
that
know
confidence,
Igbo
they
people
won't.
with
Yeah.
is a hustling spirit. The spirit, they love hard working. You know, they would, an Igbo man would get
very enterprising.
I went into the market and I was trying to, you know, get something done. I was trying to get my phone fixed, and one of the Igbo men there, his phone rang. He picked it. He said, "No, please, I need to hustle. Let me call you back. I need to hustle." I said, so they have a hustle culture. They are very.
You went to the mall, you mean?
No, not mall. I went to
market.
Sakatinabu.
You've been to that's
yes, it was very traumatizing.
Okay, that's a
It was a traumatizing day, very traumatizing. I promise. I tried Computer Village. I couldn't.
I can't imagine.
I couldn't even stay. As I entered, I just turned around. I said, "Nah, I'm not about this."
You'd have entered with this
my
green.
suit.
You enter with this green, you come out with boxers.
You know, your appearance alone.
You know,
it's automatic inflation.
Yeah, my appearance. I removed my jacket, so I wore, because yesterday I wore a suit as well. Yeah. So I removed that jacket and I wore the innerwear and the trouser. But still, the way they were looking at me at the point, and I had to tell my driver.
You still had your makeup on.
I still had my makeup on. I told my driver.
You have to wear jeans and
t-shirts.
Nah, it was not good. It was not a good experience.
You are setting yourself up for extra price.
They're looking at me like I have plenty money. They don't know the same economy all of us.
But by the grace of God, you do have.
Amen. Amen. But that being said, what this video tells us is the citizens in Igbo want to work hard. In the Anambra want to work hard. They are hard workers. Nobody wants to set up a business and just leave one day for it. I mean, even if they don't want to go, they want their boy or their girl to go there. You know, they want their staff to have it open so they don't lose out on money.
Time is
the
money.
Major concern was always about security. Now, recall that when we talked about this, after the governor gave the orders, there was a meeting between the market stakeholders, the market leaders, and the governor. And in that meeting, the governor assured the market leaders that he was going to provide maximum security and that, you know, nobody will be hurt. So, I mean, after the meeting happened, there was also assurance on the part of the traders that they will return back to the market. The leader, the chairman of the main market association, then promised that they would return to the market, seeing as the governor had provided and promised security. But let's now go to X and see what Nigerians are saying. Last time, a lot of people were pretty pissed that the governor had asked people to return to the market, and they said it's not in your position to order people. But let's see what they're saying now. Mr. Isaac says, unfortunately, this is the only thing he's achieved after 5 years. That main market is open. That main market is open on a Monday. What a legacy!
Which Mr. is there? Another Mr. Is?
No, it's not Mr. Is a musician. It was said at least he showed the good qualities of a leader. Good to see him on the ground. The security personnel should be on ground for at least the next 6 months to ensure safety of lives. Exactly. And the next tweet says, also, I hope those drones will continue to fly even after he leaves. I'm in total support of the reopening of that market. But there should be provision of adequate security to protect the lives and properties of those risking it all.
We also have the boss says, last, after God, now government, they can only make noise online. We all know this is what's best for the people. Okay. Niger citizen says, if the market was on, he would not be able to enter. Also, Onitsha market is a very broad term. You can stand 400 kilometers from the market and still say you're in the market.
So what are they trying to say? That people did not return?
Lioness says, when is Soludo addressing customers if he succeeds in opening shops? What about the customers? Is he going to force them to come out and buy, or is he going to buy everything in the market on their behalf? Chineme Luma says, this is not the main market. Okay.
Everybody knows main market. They know the outskirts and the main market.
From their standpoint, yeah. Martin says, he has done well. Soludo has shown leadership, and I love him for that. Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Anyway, just to add, I think whether it's the main market or it's not the main market, it's a good step in the right direction. And it's going to take time for it to eventually catch up with every single person. The good news is if repeatedly, starting from this Monday, next Monday, if the entire Monday from the month of February and March, the market spaces are opened, people can start flocking around maybe towards the end of February because they're certain that, oh, they've not heard anything.
And things have been normalized.
Exactly. And just to highlight that, I think it's also very important and imperative that the governor should keep the security around the market, within the market space.
I think it's commonsensical, and
just leave them
definitely
there, even
that.
for 6 months. Let them stay there, because it will build some form of trust. Believability.
And are you not even supposed to have like some sort of security post position around the market?
The market space, and you're also supposed to, and that's where people have been talking about Lagos State, where you have market spaces, and yet security is a problem, and not forgetting to the ambulances, because market spaces are bent on always having fire incidences. Arsonists and so on could also flock around. So I believe, for me, it's a good one. It's a good one. I like the fact that I retraced his steps. And that makes it even interesting.
Well, will I say retraced his steps? I don't think he completely retraced his steps. I would just say he slightly
tried a
tweaked
different
his approach. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's like retracing.
What he has done was what he was going to do anyway. He said he was going to open the market, and open the market he did. He just did not do it with that show of force. He did it more with a compassionate appeal to the citizens, like showing up in the market, toasting them, literally, in Nigerian parlance. So appealing to their emotions and then promising their security, which is what citizens have asked for. But we're streaming on YouTube, as I did mention earlier. You can go on YouTube and let's take a few comments. I will take this comment from YouTube. Mokuye Chukwuemeka says, guarantee the traders security and see them come to their shop. Good approach from the governor. Chukwa Ochiama says, all right, but let it be noted that any life lost there as a result of this very forceful resumption, Soludo must be held responsible. We want in Anambra, if you're in Anambra, even if you're not in Anambra, go to the YouTube section, News Central TV Live /YouTube, to drop your comments and let us know what you think about it. All right, we'll be heading to our next story in a moment, and we want to get your thoughts about this as well. We're talking about the foreign trips. The presidency spent no less than 34.39 billion on foreign exchange purchases for international travel and related obligations over a 2-year period, according to findings by The Punch based on data from GovSpend. We'll be expanding the meaning of this. I just want you to sit and think of this. 34 billion naira on Forex in 2 years, just because of travel. We're going to break, and when we come back from the break, we'll be expanding this, and then we'll be taking your comments on YouTube as well. Please stay with us.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. We apologize for that short break we took. It was to attend to some technical issues. But we're back, and it's still wake-up conversations. Now, as Olive previewed before we went to that break, the presidency spent no less than 34.39 billion naira on foreign exchange purchases for international travel and related obligations over a 2-year period, according to findings by the Punch newspaper based on data from Government Spend, a government expenditure tracker managed by Budget. The records covering the State House, the Presidential Air Fleet, and offices linked to the President, Vice President, and their aides showed that spending peaked in 2024 at 29.35 billion before dropping sharply to 5.04 billion in 2025. An 82% decline that reflects recent stability in the naira. Much of the forex was used to fund official trips, aviation operations, ESTA codes, and other logistics, with the Presidential Air Fleet accounting for several multi-billion naira transactions tied to overseas travel. Meanwhile, the presidency maintains that the trips were essential for diplomacy and investment drives. The scale of the spending continues to raise concerns among Nigerians, especially at a time of tight government finances and persistent foreign exchange pressures.
Very interesting there. I mean, let's look at the positive angle.
The drop, yes.
The positive angle to this is that there's a sharp drop from 28 billion naira to 5 billion naira. Let me get the exact numbers, it was 34.39 billion naira in total, but we could see that there was 29.35 billion in 2024 and 5.04 billion naira in 2025, representing an 82.8% decline year on year. So the question is, what did they do differently from 2024 to 2025 to ensure?
Because of the foreign exchange. Differences.
Foreign exchange differences.
Was it just the differences that can be attributed to that, or a complete, or a change, or an overhaul?
If you do recall, the dollar got to, it picked up over 1,000.
Yeah.
It was almost 2,000.
Yeah.
At the highest, it was 1,008. Right now, the dollar is like, okay, 1,450.
So if you, do the deductions. But it's still, it
can't just be.
But you're focusing on the deductions. Rather than, in as much as we're focusing on the deductions, which is good, the problem is, look at that figure. It's 34.9 billion naira. It's way too much in 2 years. That's high.
But look, if you look at the flip side of things, according to government, it was meant for diplomatic runs and investment drives. So Nigeria would be of immense benefit. It would be of immense benefit to Nigeria in the long run. So see it as an investment for better days ahead.
Been to France how many times? He's going to France again now. He's going again.
To Europe or France?
France.
Okay.
Except from Europe, he's going to touch down France.
Yeah.
Again. And this adds to the fleet.
Wait, just after his return from
Yes, he's going again. Just watch.
And
no wonder. I did see a report in the newspaper, and it said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu visits Nigeria after his trip in Turkey, because that's what it seems like.
Did they really say visit Nigeria?
Yes, I saw the headline.
Oh my God!
I think the media, our media colleagues are really taking the piss now. They're really taking it to the next
Nigeria,
level.
Visits his own country. It's just like saying Olive Emily visits her house.
Or Olive visits New Central.
Or visits New Central.
In the morning.
After trip
I don't even know what.
But let's be honest. This video, I did see a video. Unfortunately, I didn't send it to the production team.
The South African president. No.
Both of them. Okay. Donald Trump returned yesterday. He too went out on a trip. He went on a trip. So he came back to the United States just yesterday morning, and he came alone. He was just there. There was no lineup of people as we see there on the screen.
So you know what it would take? It would take a president, and they say we're used to tradition. He did, a president, in fairness to him, he didn't start this, but he could read the room and look at what other heads of state are doing across the world, and also the time. You have the coordinating minister of the economy there. You also have the minister of budget and national planning. You have a state governor all the way in the southeastern part of the countries there. These are very busy people that have important jobs, and they shouldn't be part of your welcome party. And this is so archaic. It's almost like a throwback to the 1980s when you had military rule, when it was the in thing. We should have moved away from this. I saw the South African president in, just an Air Force aide, 1 or 2 people, and that's it. You go about, because we're playing catch up in a lot of things, and when you look at things like the casualness of it, all is well in Nigeria. There's no need to hurry up to fix things. It's just so relaxing.
Let me mention. The hard part of this is that it's a presidential fleet that's a huge contributor to how much has been spent, especially in 2024 with the multi-billion-dollar transactions that it's had to make, right? So if you're looking at the fact that every other time the president is traveling, you think of aviation fuel, you think of the maintenance, the ESTA code, because if the president doesn't travel alone, he travels with
the retinue of aides.
Aides. These people have to get dollars, they have to get foreign exchange to spend. And whether we like it or not, we still need foreign exchange as a country. There are Nigerians who have to, dollar, for example, is still a currency by which the world determines, or other countries determine the strength of their currency. That is the current reality. And there are Nigerians who still demand dollars because they have families abroad that they have to look after, children, they have school fees to pay, they have medical tourism, So at the end of the day, there's still a huge demand of dollars, but that's not just what it's for. A lot of the materials that are used for production are imported, and a number of these materials have to be purchased in foreign currency. So there's still a huge demand of Forex.
I wonder what the obsession is with overseas travel. And it didn't start with this administration. I remember President Buhari, one of the interviews he did when he was president, and he was very casual about it. He said one funny moment in his presidency was he was reading the newspaper, and then he came upon this cartoon in the newspaper that complained about his incessant foreign trips. And in the cartoon, they did point that, what do you expect from somebody that is a Fulani? Of course, he will be nomadic and be traveling everywhere. He said he found that really, really funny. And, you know, some of the light moments he shared in his presidency.
So the thing is, again, if they are doing a lot of travel, what is the outcome of the travel? How has this benefited the country? Can we see a vast benefit as opposed to, oh, they signed this deal, and when an average Nigerian hears 34 billion in 2 years, they're just thinking, you're spending so much, yet you're demanding so much of me. You're demanding taxes, you're demanding this and that. You haven't even given me the quality of governance and leadership.
You're not tightening your belt.
You're not tightening your belts. It's just like your parent. A practical example is your parents telling you at home, we don't have money, you people have to manage, you know, you eat rice, no meat.
Mommy's eating shawarma. Burger.
Not just shawarma. She's going out every day. She's going to party every other day. She's going to go and flange you. Or she'll tell you, I'm going for meeting. I'm going to.
And she's buying her show every other weekend.
You know, and she's going. She's going with her friends. She's going with her colleagues.
And so she's packed spray money for spraying.
Exactly, mint.
But she's telling you, take
Gary. You guys need to manage. You need to learn to manage. You're going to look at her and wonder. Are you really my mother, or did you
let's quickly go back a little. I was going to look at how much former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan also spent on travel. And the data shows that in 2012, Goodluck Jonathan spent 3.354 billion naira. 3.354 billion naira. That's what he spent or thereabout. The 2013 budget proposal was 2.6 billion naira for travel, while 2014 was 2.378 billion for the same purpose. But so if you add all of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's travel in the years in which he was president, it will not get up to what President
Although we can't
need to adjust for
155
inflation and the exchange rate.
That's where I'm going. So it will not get up to this amount. It will be thereabouts vis-a-vis maybe a little bit of half lower than what we've spent here. Now, the argument would be that, oh, dollar exchange rate back then was lesser compared to what we have today. Dollar then was about, if I remember, 100 and something naira to a dollar back then, not getting up to 500. It was when Buhari got into power that dollar rose to about 400 and something. So if you look at 100 and something naira to a dollar back then, compared to 1,600, 1,800.
How much you call it to a dollar?
You find out that there's a difference.
To 163.
Yeah, it was 150 something. It was never up to 200. That's what I'm saying. So it was never up to that. So if you add all of that together, you would say, okay, maybe that's why the cost was a bit low. But whether we like it or not, realities on ground must continue to remind those in power that you can no longer do the things that you thought you could do or your predecessors did. However, this has boiled down to the tax reforms. People are now saying, okay, if you're spending this amount, this much in traveling, then you want to now take tax. What are the taxes going to be used for? To fund the trips or to better fund the issues that the country is faced with? So these are some of the realities.
It would be nice to hear what Nigerians are saying about this.
Yeah.
So let's see what Nigerians are saying about this new development from the government spend data that has been uncovered on the presidency's travel in the last few years. A. Adebanji says the value of this trip hinges on a singular question: has it provided a tangible economic return for Nigerians? If this diplomatic efforts translate into foreign investment and growth, the expenditure is an investment. However, if there is no measurable economic benefit, spending 34 billion naira on foreign travel represents a significant drain in our national resources, says A. Adebanji. General Snow says the presidency burned, he uses the word burned, 34.39 billion on foreign trips in just 2 years, while Nigerians are hungry, unemployed, and living in darkness. This is not governance. It's reckless, shameless extravagance at the expense of the people. How can they spend like this and still look Nigerians in the eye? Ogoguche says, I actually like the way this man spent and enjoys himself. No problem for this country too much. Where is this coming from?
Make you try, they enjoy.
Mr. B says 34.39 billion on travel. That's not just Japa money. That's enough to buy a one-way ticket for every youth in Lagos and still pay for their initial Airbnb. But instead of investing in the grid or the people, we're funding the DMs and per diems and
that is where the
codes.
problem is.
You're tightening your belt and they're expanding their legroom in first class. Country isn't broke, the funds are just stuck in overhead cost folder. It's right,
Mr. B.
If you're telling us to tighten our belt, you also have to respond
Esther codes.
accordingly.
Esther codes. You know.
Achugo Scientific says, 34.39 billion on foreign travel in 2 years is staggering when compared with our national priorities. This amount could fund projects and the construction of primary healthcare centers. Leadership should exemplify sacrifice, especially in an economic crisis. Yeah, he's right. And then for a country that is still borrowing at an alarming level, you would expect them to cut their quota according to their size, but it doesn't seem to face them. They are still going hard.
That's what I said.
I mean, it's like, it reminds me of a friend. He told me a story of his friend that was struggling. And then they had this guy that came from abroad and they went out together. So he gave him mints. You that you are struggling, instead of you to hold your mint and keep some, he said, then he reported to the mutual friend the next day, I die your guy. It's a bit spray money going with this. So Nigeria's case is like, it was stylishly spraying money. You that you're in trouble.
You're in trouble, yeah, that's
I think it's very important. There have been governments, not just, governments around the world. We've seen Lazarus Chakwera. We've seen in Namibia, I think sometime in 2018, when the government banned public travel for a
Lazarus Chakwera had an online meeting. It was a Zoom meeting. He flew his daughter, his family, they went to London. It was when they got to London that they told him that, Your Excellency, this is a Zoom meeting.
I need to take comments from YouTube, like I did say, we're streaming live, New Central TV live on YouTube. We can see a comment here from Chuka Ochiama says, seeing the alarming scarce resources Tinubu has made Nigeria spend in his unending global tourism only confirms that what I've always said, that Tinubu only came to power to gallivant and refurbish his health. Moki Chukwemeka says, what has the trips brought? Nothing. We can see only signed MOUs that never come to fruition. Tinubu is living his best years on taxpayers' money and the APC sees nothing wrong with it. And we have Felix Okechukwu says, there must be something very serious and sinister about Nigeria's presidents traveling all over the country. The media should help us look into this. There is something we're not being told. Keep the comments coming. We'll
just to respond to Mokwe Chukwemeka, some of the investments are coming through. I don't know if it's in the form of investments, but his last trip to the Abu Dhabi summit, they did mention
that
an Investopedia summit.
Happening in February.
Yesterday, I think yesterday to 5th or something.
Yes, so it's on in Lagos. Let's hope it's not just a talk shop, because they could go to that Investopedia summit and sign more MOUs in that summit. Let's hope it translates to real investments.
Well, one thing we're not doing on the show this morning is signing MOUs, but we do have top stories to bring your way. So now let's share with you what the top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning, NNPP debunks report of Kwankwaso Tinubu's secret defection meeting. It seems like Kwankwaso might not be moving to the APC. Court stops labor unions from embarking on planned protests. This seems to be the order of the day. Hoodlums disrupts Labour Party ADC defection event in Lagos. This is not the first time this is happening. Energy security takes center stage as Nigerian International Energy Summit starts in Abuja, and we'll be bringing the front pages of the newspapers. Join us for all these and more.